I actually had to walk and come here because the SUVs we are driving today might not make it here. And that's the reason my t-shirt says, road closed, find out why. You know why is it closed? Because pseudo SUVs, block roads, they don't let you go off-road as such. But all the jokes aside, and I was not actually joking, but anyways, today I'm comparing the Tata Punch, which is an SUV by the way, with the Citroen C3. Both of them are basically jacked up hatchbacks with high ground clearance and known as SUVs in India, which is a big misnomer. But they do offer you a lot more than traditional small cars or even hatchbacks, premium hatchbacks aside. Now today I'm going to be comparing both of these and telling you which is the one you should buy, because the Punch has a lot more features to offer but is a lot more pricier. The Citroen seems very basic, doesn't even have the most basic of features, which is quite shocking, but the price is very aggressive. So let's start with a walk around. Okay, so here are the keys of the car. This car is ringing because the key is in my hand right now. This is the Tata key, which feels much more premium, and obviously it gets keyless entry as well. The Citroen does not, so you have to actually use the buttons on the key to lock and unlock the vehicle. Anyways, let's open the engine bay of the Citroen first, which has a superior engine. By the way, if you notice, the Punch is actually wider. It is also taller, has a higher ground clearance, better water wading capacity. It's heavier as well. Yeah, but the Citroen has some USPs of its own. Now let's open the engine bay. Firstly, it is super duper vibraty there. You can see there is insulation there and there's so much space in the engine bay. It's absolutely crazy, and you heard that noise. It's very robust. The Punch is no less, and hotty. Oh my goodness, there you see, it's vibrating like crazy as well. There's good amount of space for a diesel engine, but Tata Motors won't give us one. There is insulation there, of course. Now in terms of design, both follow a similar design theme, which is the main beams are actually lower, and then the DRL is there on the top where usually the headlight is, and we get fog lights as well. You get cornering function here. Both cars are very funky because you see the roof is not body colored. So this orange colored Punch has a black colored roof, and this grey colored Citroen C3 actually has orange finishing here, orange inserts there on the outside rear view mirrors on the roof as well. So that's kind of nice. However, you've got some LED here, which is I think for the DRL, which is not functioning now because the lights are on. So the lights are on high beam at the moment. In the Citroen though, everything is halogen, which is a bit unfortunate. There's a lot of cost cutting. So if you think cost cutting is something which Tata Motors does, well, Citroen goes one step further. I've never seen a car with this level of cost cutting, but at least that reflects in the price of this vehicle. Now, I'm not talking about how is it on the side, but before that, let me show you that the horn placement is nice because this is open now. So the horn becomes loud enough. Yeah, it's kind of a loud horn, and then that tri-arrow pattern is yeah, it's very loud, it's very loud. Now let's come to the rear. So in terms of rear design, again, you see that both of them are equally funky, high ground clearance. Yeah, this is slightly more in terms of ground clearance, and the tri-arrow pattern is obviously there. The lights are not really visible in the day with the C3. Here we've got some LED, but mostly it is actually halogen. I think this is LED, but you know what? Rear wiper, washer, defogger, all that is here. This thing does not get it. It gets a high mounted stop lamp. So does the Punch as well. And then you've got a reverse parking camera. You've got rear parking sensors. You only get rear parking sensors there. There is no reverse parking camera. It's quite shocking. So what we will do is we will actually open the boot of the vehicle, and there you can see the boot is actually 51 liters bigger in the Punch. So yeah, decent sized boot, but to open the under tray is a bit of an issue. So oversized carpeting and whatnot, so badly done. Tata Motors doesn't even put effort of seeing how it is in terms of user experience. So this is smaller size when compared to the size of the tires. So yes, that's something even the Citroen does. There you get a parcel shelf, thankfully, and then you can actually push forward the seat, but one piece only. Yeah, so there's no 60-40 function here. So if you want to increase the boot carrying capacity, you can do that as well. You also have this handle with which you can pull and close this, and you've got a rhino there as well. So Faisal Khan's fingers of truth always keep hunting for the exhaust. There is the exhaust in the Punch. In the Citroen though, the exhaust is, yeah, where is it? There is the exhaust. So similar positioning of the exhaust, and my hand has got a little clotted because of the poor design of the rear carpeting in the Punch. Anyways, let's open the boot, and it is quite a small boot with a high loading lip. And look, if I want to access the under storage, no problem, it's much easier here. Smaller size tire, so yes, cost cutting has been done in both the cars, but you know what, one shocking thing is there's no alloy in this car. That's really bad. You get a parcel shelf. You don't get a handle to pull it like this smoothly, but that's fine. The boot is extremely light. With my pinky finger, I can actually shut it. That's the lightness of the boot. It's absolutely crazy. Now let's actually come to the side to see how they are in terms of design. And there you can see the Punch is actually slightly shorter in terms of length. Yeah, the C3 is actually longer. Yeah, the C3 is longer and it is quite a bit longer, and that also reflects in the wheelbase of the vehicle. And look at the precision parking by Nurain. Almost collided the car, but you know what, my hands were the parking sensors. I was telling her आगे पीछे थोड़ा और आगे बोल देता ना तो यहीं पे एंड कैप हो जाता, because Citroen का नहीं हुआ, Tata Punch का हुआ है. In fact, the Tata Punch is having 5-star NCAP rating, so in terms of safety, the Punch has actually proven itself. Now the tire size is bigger here in the Punch because it's running on 16-inch wheels. 195/60 16, and you get alloy wheels on the top variants. Unfortunately, with the Citroen, you do not get alloy wheels. 195/60 515 is the size of the tires, and you realize one thing from the side, that the ground clearance is more here, but this is longer, has a longer wheelbase as well, which will obviously translate into more space. That's kind of nice, like how the indicator is placed here. Request sensor is there on the other side. And if you notice one thing, door handles are very cheap pull-out types. Door handles are better here on the Punch, and then at the rear you have got hidden door handles as well. Both cars get roof rails, both cars get these massive antennas. So see the size of the antenna here, it's absolutely not maddening as much as that on the Citroen. No, they are both the same size. Why am I even nitpicking here? Yeah, kind of similar, and then, you know, nice design, which means that I should actually get into the rear to tell you about the space. Okay, first and foremost, there seems to be decent amount of space. In fact, space is better than the Punch, and then air conditioning is an absolute chiller. You can hear the sound of the air conditioning. So I'm just going to turn off the air conditioning, but the air conditioning is better in the C3. Okay, doors don't open as wide. Door pockets are also smaller here, and then legroom and kneeroom is actually good. Under thigh support is not that great. It's decent, I would say. Headroom is fine. Even in the Punch, the headroom is fine, only not that great for tall passengers. And because the cabin is not wide enough, 3 people cannot sit in comfortably. You get USB ports here, which you do not get in the Punch. And then you have got fixed headrest. Center passenger does not get a head, not even in the Punch, but at least adjustable headrest in the Punch, which is nice. But here, cost cutting to an entirely different level. You don't get a center armrest, which you get in the Punch, and no adjustable headrest at the front either, which you get in the Punch. The seats are actually slim. You get magazine holders that you get in the Punch as well. And overall, I would say rear seat comfort is fine, but no ISOFIX child seat mounts. That is shocking. That is actually very shocking indeed. And then obviously you can take this ahead, so you have to pull it like this. The lever is definitely better in the Punch, I would say, okay, to operate that. So that is that. We will turn on the air conditioning on full flow. Okay, listen to this. Yeah, it makes quite a lot of sound, but the air conditioning is also very effective here. Now doors shut with a decent thud, I would say. Now coming to the Punch, okay, it has a big USP which cars more expensive do not have. That is the 90-degree opening door. Look at the way it opens. It's absolutely crazy. This is the car which actually needs the Maybach type gesture, because you have to really stretch, and if you have Kanun ke haath, you can close the doors, otherwise you cannot. It's very difficult, honestly, it's very difficult. But look at the way the doors open. It's absolutely crazy. Door pockets also nice and big enough. You have umbrella holders on the front doors and nice coloring there as well, so quite impressive. Seats also very nice, and then adjustable headrest, which is kind of cool. You have this hook here to secure your luggage. Glove box is actually bigger here with the cooling function as well. So Tata Motors has done a fantastic job, and then to get in, you actually open the door from here. Now space might not be as much here when compared to the Citroen, but this is a very likable place because ISOFIX child seat mounts, adjustable headrest, center armrest, no cup holders there, no AC vents, no USB charging sockets here. There's some amount of storage though, and legroom and kneeroom is fine, I would say. Under thigh support is also okay, not that great, and headroom seems about adequate, but you know, seat is a bit upright here. Doors open so wide, it's absolutely crazy. Dashboard actually looks quite impressive here. It looks really very nice. I like it. Funky quality levels are also very nice here. So Tata Motors has done a fab job. So in terms of rear seat space, definitely the Citroen is better, but that's not what matters. What also matters is adjustable headrest, armrest, all that, and you see magazine holders are there in both the cars. But this door which opens so wide, absolutely crazy, really appreciated in this car. Now the thing is, let's get to the Citroen And I hate how the door handle has been done. Now this car is going to continue to ring. There is a request sensor, so I'm just going to do one thing. I'm actually going to put the key inside so it stops ringing. Yeah, just shut up, will you? Let's turn off the lights completely so that, you know, the screens are more visible. Let's just shut this and get inside here. Now firstly, I am going to turn off the lights completely. The thing is, this car actually happens to have the better, and I kid you not, it has the better infotainment system. It's a 10-inch unit. The Punch has an 7-inch actually, 7-inch unit. I was going to say 8-inch, but it has 7-inch with Chintu Mintu. This is more slick to operate. Both cars get CarPlay and Android Auto, but this is wireless. The Punch does not get wireless. Again, it's very funky and interior looks quite nice. Glove box is not as big as the Punch, and then usual bits of lot of storage here in the center in both the cars. Air conditioning is like a chiller, but the controls could be better, and this is rubbish, sorry to say that. My 10-year-old calculator has better display, okay? This is so bad. This is fully digital. There's no tachometer also, and it's like Chintu Mintu. It's not Chintu Mintu. Like, what is this? Audio controls on the steering wheel, the horn. It is nice and decent. Where's the button there? We shut this. Okay, now the thing is that you have to manually adjust this, which is very weird. Got a 4-speaker system. That car has 4 speakers along with 2 tweeters as well. Audio system is actually better there. And overall it looks funky, but cost cutting is evident. But look at this. There is no dimming function only here. What is this? At least it should have some sort of dimming. Oh, there's a mirror. Wow, what a revolution. There's no mirror here. So very basic interior, but functional nonetheless, because seats are actually comfortable enough. Power window controls have been given here at the rear for rear seat passengers, so they don't have to put buttons at the rear. So just could be operate kara yahin se kare. So a lot of clever cost cutting has been done. And then, like I was telling you, there is no reverse parking camera here, which is disappointing. This is more slick. It's a faster unit when compared to the one in the Punch. Yeah, it's 10-inch. It's huge in terms of size. That's kind of nice. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's get out. So you see, it's very basic. It just doesn't have any feature when compared to the Punch, because the Punch is loaded. Okay, and when I say loaded, I am not even like exaggerating. For starters, you have a engine start stop button right there. The seats kind of feel better. They're thicker actually, and that's not all. Door pockets are bigger. You have umbrella holders there. All power window controls here itself, and then you have a better instrument cluster. In fact, part digital, part analog. But this is so much better with colors and all that stuff. Okay, this is a little change. This is a little bit disappointing, to be very honest. But we've got a reverse parking camera there. It takes so many years for this AMD unit to actually detect if it's in reverse, and it has got guidelines too. This has the dimming function too, and here we get a mirror. Here we do not get anything at all. Steering has more buttons because of audio system, and it also has for cruise control. So it has cruise control, and horn is so easy to press. Automatic headlights, automatic wipers as well. Rear wiper and washer too. IRA connected car tech is also there. So yeah, it's just so much better. This car has so many more features, trying to justify its price to a certain level. And then you've got drive modes too. Yeah, you've got drive modes too, which is fantastic. And audio quality is also better here. The Punch is really very well loaded. Fantastic. In fact, let's use the wipers right away there. You see, good amount of spray on offer, cleans the windscreen in no time at all. That's kind of nice. You can see headroom is actually adequate here at the front. And in terms of perceived quality, the Punch is just better than the Citroen. But does the Citroen claw back its disadvantage when it comes to the driving experience? Let's start driving right away. Alright, we start off with the Punch. Firstly, air conditioning off. Climate control air conditioning, that is kind of cool. Internally adjustable electric rear view mirrors, that's also very cool. I love the cluster. It feels so much more premium than the basic one in the Citroen, and obviously the colors here are nice and bright as well, but it's kind of slow here. And then you have a lot of stuff to browse through as well. There's sound demo, there's park assist, which will turn on at the moment because it will show me a feed of the rear camera. We will get into city drive mode, to manual, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and off we go. The engine is very lethargic, it's very slow, it's very boring to drive. So basically the Tata Punch is available with only one engine, which is a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder unit, is naturally aspirated and doesn't really have the grunt you would expect from what is known as an SUV. Okay, stop using the word SUV. Oh, that's so wrong and misleading. Now coming to the engine, it has a decent mid-range, but right now we are driving the one with the AMT gearbox, the automatic. So this engine is available with the 5-speed manual or a automatic manual transmission, automated manual transmission. Actually, it's an automatic which gets the job done, offers you convenience, but doesn't shift fast enough. It has this jerkiness, it keeps swaying ahead and behind, which reminds me it has brake sway control. It has got traction pro mode as well, which when it detects that you're in a place where there's not enough traction, then it will prompt give you a prompt here on the infotainment system. You select that, approve it, and then what it will do is it will not deliver power to the wheel which is not having traction, the front wheel. Of course, this is front wheel drive car, so that is another cool feature in this car. And then 370 mm of water wading capacity and good approach, departure and breakover angles also by this size of car standard. Anyways, what's important is that performance is decent enough. It gets the job done, but it's not like exciting enough. Firstly, this is a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder engine. Even the Citroen uses the same engine. I mean, not the same engine, but 1.2 liter 3-cylinder. Both are naturally aspirated. The Citroen also has a turbo version, okay, which we can't even talk about because it produces 110 horsepower and 190 Newton meters of torque. Till a few days back, that was the most powerful 3-cylinder engine in the market till Mahindra launched the XUV300 Turbo Sport with a lot more grunt. Now, the thing is that performance is kind of lackluster. It's not enthusiastic enough, and then you can feel the 3-cylinder thrum. The problem here largely is that this AMT box now actually makes things even worse, okay, things even slower, and the mid-range is actually nice here, but top end now it kind of becomes very vocal, and that 3-cylinderness is very much evident. It's producing 86 horsepower and 130 Newton meters of torque, so it's more powerful than the Citroen but less in terms of torque, because the Citroen C3, which we are driving, the NA version, is producing 82 horsepower and 150 Newton meters of torque, so 4 horsepower down when compared to the Punch, but the C3 has 2 Newton meters of more torque, which is like not much. So it's kind of even Stevens here. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 16.5 seconds. It's bloody slow, and if you get into the eco mode, it will try to conserve fuel and become even slower, taking more than 20 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. So we've got drive modes here, which is a nice thing to have, but the engine really disappoints, and this AMT box even makes it worse. So honestly, if you're looking to buy an AMT, probably you should look for better options. This automatic is not that great. It's not that great, matlab it's not even good. The thing is that the price of this car with the AMT horn, okay please, the price is actually 11.15 lakhs on road Mumbai, making it quite expensive, wherein you can actually get the Nexon's lower variants as well, or stretch a bit and get the Nexon, which is obviously larger and better and bigger and all that stuff. So pricing is on the high side, but you get a lot of features as well, trying to justify the price. Now I have to admit that the steering is not as light as the Citroen at lower speeds, but you know what, this feels much more feedback rich at lower speed. Like at parking speeds now, the steering is not very loose. The Citroen steering is crazy loose at lower speeds, so I think the steering is also fantastic. Tata Motors has always been doing great steering wheels, so that's something really I need to applaud them for. And then the ride is also fantastic, okay, handling is also good, but the thing is that the C3 has better handling, better ride, and steering is slightly better at higher speeds. With a longer wheelbase, it has better high speed stability as well. Anyone who tries the Punch will never ever complain about the ride and handling, because I think the balance is fantastic. It's just the C3 is slightly better in that regard. And then trying to make a quick overtake here, it takes its own sweet time. There is no hurry. There is absolutely no hurry here, and that is a bit of a bummer because it's not a very fast car. You can feel every shift happening, and it's not exciting enough. So all the excitement you get in terms of the features and all are lost immediately as soon as you get to the driver's seat. But the ride is very impressive. Okay, to put into perspective, the performance of the Citroen is so good. It's so good that it just whizzes past like this. Okay, there it is, the Citroen C3. Okay, because we're going to drive them both back to back. It started to rain all of a sudden. I was sweating like crazy a few minutes back because of the hot sun. So honestly, I feel that the C3 is better even in terms of braking performance. The brakes here are not that sure-footed. At least the feel on the pedal is not that nice. So yeah, that's another area where the Citroen shines. So I think the mechanical aspects of things, the Citroen is just better. It's just better. Now I cannot do a drag race between both the cars. I would have, but here we have the automatic. If we had a manual here, then I would have definitely thought about doing a drag race to see how both of them fare together. But with that manual, the C3 definitely feels more engaging to drive. Now the Punch will actually give you a good view of what's around, but this is just too small. You can't give us such a small infotainment system, Tata Motors, at 11 lakh rupees. 7 inches like too small. At least 8 inch on at least 10, considering the C3 offers you a 10-inch one. And then in terms of reliability, I would say Obviously the Citroen would be better, tried and tested stuff here. This obviously we've seen with Tata Motors. With time certain issues crop up and all, takes some time for them to resolve them as well. So reliability wise C3 is better, but I have to admit that the Punch has much better sales and service because there are many more outlets as such, which is a bit of a problem for the C3 because there are not many outlets. Now in terms of claimed fuel efficiency, the one here with the Punch is much lesser, not much but around 1.5 kilometers lesser when compared to the C3, which even in its turbo guys is more efficient than the Punch. So whether it's the manual, whether it's the automatic of the Punch, the C3 is just a more efficient car. That engine is just better and it reflects almost in everywhere. Okay, you can feel a bit of the expansion joints that you don't feel as much because the C3 suspension is better tuned. However, insulation levels are not that great in either of the cars, so cost cutting has obviously been done. But that feel good factor is so nice now in the Punch that you would love the interiors. You would definitely love it. You don't feel that you're paying that additional money and getting something less, because whatever you're paying for, you're getting your money's worth, which I honestly feel. Because when I sit in this cabin, I realize, okay, the perceived quality is better, the features and all that. Cost cutting is not evident, but that's the problem with the C3. The cost cutting is like evident, like yeah, they have cut corners, you can see that immediately as well. So anyways, it makes a lot of sense for us to launch again, but there's nothing to launch because the engine is just the sore point here. I wish Tata Motors actually made a nice petrol engine, because that's something they've been ignoring for a long time. A good engine in this car would do wonders honestly to boost its sales, because that is the only fly in the ointment. Otherwise this is a fantastic car. I really don't have complaints in terms of the dynamics, right handling balance, and obviously the features. So they always nail it these days. More car per car, probably more price per car, yes, definitely. I have told the C3 to always park behind me, but the C3 always wants to get ahead. Okay, so Citroen is always very aggressive there. Okay, we'll do one thing, we'll launch again. By the way, the price of this car is 10.47 lakhs. That is 8.33 lakhs, significantly cheaper, more than 2 lakhs cheaper. But then obviously features also differ a lot. And then I've just left the accelerator. It crawls decently well as well. By the way, there is a stop start system which is offered by Tata Motors in the manual version of the Punch. Okay, now here we go. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. Upshifts at just 6,000 RPM. Engine is not that high revving here. It's like aram se. So if the engine changes, that price would be completely worth it. If that doesn't happen, the Punch actually comes across as something which is slightly more expensive than what it definitely offers, which means we should switch to the C3. Now immediately I can feel that this is more engaging to drive because of the manual transmission, of course, but the engine is just so much better. Look at the second gear, freaking 99 kilometers per hour. Definitely a much better engine than what Tata Motors is offering us. In fact, the brakes are also better. It is actually a lighter car. Yeah, this is almost 100 kgs lighter than the Punch, and that reflects in the performance of the vehicle. Now it's raining cats and dogs and monkeys all of a sudden. I don't know how that happened, but anyways, let me tell you honestly that the ride is also better here. The handling is better. The steering feel, I kind of think the Punch is better there because it feels a little loose in the center position, so that's a bit of a bummer. Otherwise the handling overall is very nice here. Body roll is there in both the cars, slightly better contained here without a doubt. And yes, it is true that the overall, what am I looking for? I don't know. Yeah, I was looking for a downshift actually. And here we are into second gear. Whack open the throttle. It is a very nice and linear engine without any flat spots. Tata Motors engine probably, the problem is there that it has a lot of flat spots throughout the rev range. So beach mein they step up and step down in power and performance. So that's a bit of a bummer with the Punch, of course. But yeah, I kind of definitely like the engine here, and that turbo engine is another level. I can't even talk about that engine because it's so freaking awesome. But still, you pay less money than the Punch to get that engine. So, you know, Citroen has really cut corners in every place possible, but that cutting corners bit has been passed to the consumer as well. You want to put any accessories, Citroen will also support you with that, or probably you can go to Karol Bagh and also do it. But honestly, the performance is mind-blowing. The ride and handling balance is fantastic, and this is a car which is very funky inside but also very nice to drive. and that's really nice. Okay, firstly, high speed stability is also quite nice. Okay, we have a 5-speed gearbox here, which I engage into third most of the time, and you get a 6-speed box with a turbo, which is, I was telling you, 110 horsepower and 190 newton meters of torque. You can imagine the kind of performance it has to offer. Absolutely bonkers. Okay, and that's a lovely engine. Now, in terms of outright acceleration, this is slightly faster than the Punch, around 1.5 seconds faster, because of the lighter weight and better gearing and better calibration of the engine and everything. And then I think overall insulation level is also better. So both have this 3-cylinder thrum, but that is better contained in this car. So engine is just better in spite of the fact that both being 1.2 liter 3-cylinder units. How is Citroen making such a better engine when compared to Tata Motors? Because that is the problem with Tata Motors. They can make great cars, but they can't make engines yet, unfortunately. Anyways, you want to see how good the brakes are, and check this out. Okay, here, full stopping power, a little bit of right and left, I don't know why the ABS is not working here, but we are into first gear right now. Wipers off, revving the motor, wheel spin, first gear 54, and wheel spin on upshift as well. And this is not even the turbo. You can imagine with the turbo what will happen. The turbo is in another league altogether. That turbo is just unbelievably good. It's fantastic, and that is the fun of driving a small capacity engine, which is efficient as well as fast. In terms of efficiency, this is more efficient than the Punch. So as far as engine goes, this has the cake. In fact, dynamics, mechanicals, Citroen it is. Now, if you can compromise on the features, or the features are not important, you want to save that money, the eyes closed, get the Citroen C3. It's really very nice. The only thing is that cluster now is a bit of a bummer, and with this kind of performance, I'm like, let me see at what RPM I'm shifting. There is no tachometer only. Yeah, that's kind of crazy as well. So more value for money, but devoid of features, but definitely the better drive experience, the better engine, and the gearbox also is decently smooth shifting, but then there's not much of a difference in terms of the gear shifts and the clutch feel of both the cars. Obviously that is an AMT which I was driving right now, so I'll not make an apples to apples comparison, but the C3 does not come with an automatic. Considering how fantastically bad the automatic gearbox is in the Punch, it's better not to have an automatic, because come on, it's like jerking all the way. I'm paying 11 lakh rupees for that car, 11 lakh 15,000 to be precise, and I'm getting something which honestly feels substandard in terms of gear shifts and the gearbox. We could do better for sure, because Maruti Suzuki is offering AMTs in its car since donkey's years. I think they were the first to bring this technology to India. Yet the quality of shifts in the recent cars with AMT box is so much better than what it was earlier. Obviously it's still not close to a conventional automatic gearbox, but you'll be surprised at how good it is. Yeah, it's like, it's livable. The Punch is not livable. I can't live with that gearbox at all. I rather walk than to sit in that and wait for that AM to make shifts. Even when you get into reverse, it takes 3 years to get into reverse. And you know what? Cost cutting is so majorly done now in the C3 that you won't believe it, that the tank capacity is also smaller. Smaller tank, lesser money spent on making that tank. 30-liter fuel tank in this car. 30 liters is like very chintu mintu. Meanwhile, the tank capacity in the Punch happens to be 37 liters, and it doesn't really make much of a difference, because I think in terms of the real world efficiency, both will return between 9 to 14 kilometers per liter, and with the turbo the mileage will decrease tops by around 0.75 kilometers per liter. Considering the massive performance improvement, it's just completely worth it, and the premium you pay for the turbo is also completely worth it. So if you like driving, man, you're going to love this car. It is just very nice, very nice. And okay, over these bad bumps, no problem. We know now that Citroen is known for amazing ride quality. This doesn't have any sophisticated suspension as well, but things are so well tuned here that it really annihilates the worst of roads, and then you can hear a bit of the engine in the higher end of the rev range. The problem with the Punch is that the engine is not free revving. Here the engine is so much more free revving. It's like excited enough, but steering could do better around the corners, and because of the steering now, that perceived body roll also increases. So I think there's quite a lot of clarity in what areas do these particular cars excel. So which one would I choose? Good question. It is quite evident that the Citroen C3 is the better car in terms of mechanicals. It has a better ride, better handling, better steering feel. It's just so much more fun to drive, and the engine is also better. The Punch, unfortunately, doesn't really have the punch, and that's kind of surprising that Tata Motors, being such a big company, still can't make decent petrol engines, because the engine is average at best. And if you say that Tata Motors obviously has that 2-liter engine in the Safari and Harrier, well, that is not Tata Motors engine. It actually comes from FCA Group or Stellantis or Jeep or Fiat, whatever. That's not important. What's important is that if you want a car which is feature loaded, then paying that 2.14 lakh premium for the Punch does make sense, because yes, that is the price difference between this car and the top end manual Punch, which by the way is available in 30 variants. Yes, the Punch is available in a whopping 30 freaking variants. Meanwhile, the C3 is available only in 6 variants because it has these 3 packages with around 56 customization options and all that stuff. Tata Motors, lists the customization options as variants itself. So a little bit confusion in terms of which Punch you should buy. But the price difference narrows if you opt for the turbo petrol engine in the C3, where the price difference is around 93,000 rupees. So you pay 1.2 lakhs more for the turbo when compared to the NA engine in the C3, which is completely worth it. And you save 93,000, with which you can actually go to Karol Bagh, put a reverse parking camera in this car, put more funky stuff, add some features, because although the Punch is loaded with a ton of features, quite a few of them might not be really useful to you, like automatic wipers, automatic headlights. You can live without them. So the verdict is very clear. If I want a feature loaded SUV, oh god, did I just say SUV? Faisal, I'm going to slap you. Don't use that word for jacked up hatchbacks. If I want a jacked up hatchback with a lot of features, then I should certainly get the Punch, pay that premium. And of course, the main criteria is I don't enjoy driving. I don't care about driving because the engine really kills the fun there. And obviously, if you want an automatic, the Punch is available with an automatic. The C3 is not available with an automatic yet. Okay, if you want a real SUV, obviously, Tata's own Safari Storm is here on my t-shirt. But if you like driving, if you want something which is fun to drive, which will put a smile on your face every time, even the NA engine in the C3 will give you some sort of thrills, but the turbo engine will make you grin year to year. It is just lovely. And personally, I would pick the Citroen C3, especially the turbo variant. And that is the verdict. Now, because these are SUVs, even I can become one by standing here and increasing my ground clearance. Jokes aside, if you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye. Whew. Let's go. चल के जाऊंगा आज तो. And cut.